Welcome back. Tonight marks the first night in our month-long San Antonio Sports Hall of Fame edition, Power of Sports series. We kick it off with one of the most well-known Spurs in the history of the franchise. He ranks among the most popular players who have ever worn silver and black. Here's Malik Rose with Hector Ledesma.
One of the Spurs fans' all-time favorite players, Malik Rose. Thank you so much for the time, man.
Thanks, Hector. Thanks for having me.
And thanks for sitting down with us and talking about the power of sport, because whenever I talk to professional athletes, obviously the role that sports has played in your guys' lives is obvious.
Yes.
But before the success and before you became Malik Rose, talk about the role that athletics played in your life.
It's almost like countless the number of ways that sports and athletics can help shape a young man or a young woman. For me, I was always taller than everyone and, like bigger than most people, so I was kind of shy and, felt funny about being the odd man out, or the one that stuck out. But sports kind of allowed me to gain confidence in myself and to grow into my body. And then that was on the personal side. But then with the team aspect of it, it just teaches you how to work together and, be part of be a good team player, help others. You have to fight from getting knocked down. Obstacles are put in your way. You're competing against the best, and sometimes you lose. But all those things help the person to grow, help me at least, to grow and become more confident and become a better person of society.
As you're growing into it, was there a moment where you thought, you know what, I can play at the next level, I can do this for a career? When did that happen for you?
It's a great question. I was at Drexel University, the powerhouse Drexel University. And I just started to, I was in the top 10 in rebounding in the nation. That's when I really, felt like maybe I had a chance. If I could rebound the basketball at a high level and our team could win, maybe I could get, picked up into the NBA. So my junior year in college is when it became like a kind of a reality. Like I always dreamed of going to the NBA ever since the Sixers won the championship in '83. Right. I was 9 years old then, fell in love with the game. But then when I was a junior in college, it really became like maybe a tangible or a goal I can attain, and I started to work that much harder for it.
99, 03. When you look back at that time period, Malik, obviously the fans will remember the ships, right?
Yeah.
But are there one or two things that stick out to you outside of the championships that kind of speak to sport and the power of sport when it comes to Malik Rose?
I think it entails the Spurs, but I remember going to the children's hospitals, St. Jude, or you go to BAMC, and you see the look on the kids or the soldiers' faces when you walk in, and they don't really want sympathy or anything like that. The children too, they just want you to treat them like a regular person and talk to them, listen to them. And I got so much out of that. And I really think it sounds cliche-ish, like I got more out of it than they did, but I swear to you, I got a lot out of it. It may not be more than what they got out of it, but for me, it was a very sobering moment and put a lot of things in perspective.
Since I brought up 99 and 03, I got to ask you this right now. When you guys were going against those great Laker teams, Tim and David probably aren't going to like to hear this, but I always thought you were as effective in bothering Shaq as anybody that the Spurs had on the roster at that point.
I'm just glad Shaq was a little younger in his career. Like, he wasn't the sage that he is now, because he would have found a way to just fling my little behind out of the way or whatever. But I used to look forward to those times in a weird, morbid kind of way, because I knew that Dave or Tim would probably get into foul trouble, and I would get some minutes that night. Like, when they didn't play against Shaq most nights, I did a lot of this, just a lot of sitting. But I looked forward to playing against Shaq, and maybe that's why Pop, will put me on him, because in a weird way, I wasn't afraid of him. I knew he could pummel me with one hand or whatever, but I just wanted to go and play against him because I knew I would get a lot of minutes that night, and as luck would have it, I was somewhat successful, and we won some games.
He is an assistant GM. He is a two-time world champion. He's one of the most admired Spurs of all time, and now he's a Hall of Famer. Malik Rose, congratulations, and thanks for talking to us about the power of sport.
Anytime.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
Our thanks to Malik for taking the time to sit down with us. He kicks off our month-long San Antonio Sports Hall of Fame series, which also includes former high school coaching great Jim Streety, former 49er and Lee grad Bruce Colley, and Spurs team physician Dr. David Schmidt. To learn more about the power of sport, visit sanantoniosports.org.